morning, students. Today we'll start our chapter 2, Internet Services and Mobile Technologies. We have read in first chapter about Internet. Internet is a network of networks. Now in this chapter we'll read what services we are getting from Internet. Very first one is information retrieval. Whenever we have to search anything, we just go to the Google and we type our topic and we are getting the information. So information retrieval is there, we are getting information from the internet. One more term is used here, net surfing. Net surfing is what basically? When you are exploring the internet, when you are searching or when you are doing anything on the internet, that is called net surfing. Now, if we have to search anything on internet, what we do? We basically enter the URL of the website. URL is Uniform Resource Locator. That is basically the address of the website. Because on internet, each and every web page and every website is having a different address, unique address. That address is called URL. Uploading and downloading is given here. Uploading means when you are uploading or you are saving anything from your computer to internet, that is uploading. And downloading means when you are saving the files or any program from internet to your computer. So some interesting sites to visit. First is BBC, that is dedicated to school education. Some websites are given here, you can go through these websites. The next topic is email. Email stands for electronic mail and it is a way to send the message from internet or through internet or computer. So in earlier days we used to send the letters, but nowadays we are using emails. Email stands for electronic mail. When we are sending any mail through internet, that is called email. For sending the email, we need an email account and email address. Email address is made up of two things, username and host name, and both of these are separated by this symbol that is called @ symbol. For example, these email addresses are given here, these are separated, these are having two parts, username and host name, and separated by @ symbol. Advantages you can see: low cost, speed, waste reduction, reduction of paper, ease of use, record maintenance and patient. Because record maintenance is there, we are saving our mails, so if we are not deleting them, we are having the record of the mails. Limitations: hardware requirement, impermanent, hasty medium, hard to convey emotions. So username is the name of the user and domain name is that site on which the username will be, or you can say email account will be created. So for creating any email account, we'll go to the website which offers us for creating the email account, like hotmail.com, gmail.com, rediffmail.com, india.com. So we can open any of the website, then we have to enter our details, then we can create the email account. So here some email clients are given here. Mozilla Thunderbird, an email and news cross-platform client software packaged by Mozilla Foundation. Postbox is just like Thunderbird, but it offers some extensions also. EM is a client and server platform, messaging and collaboration. Now, viewing received mails. We have created our email account. Now if we are getting the emails, how can we receive them? Simply by entering our email address and password in that website. We have to sign in, we can see. Then we can have the inbox in which we'll be getting our emails. We can simply click on the mail and we can open that mail. Now replying and forwarding an email message. We have got our email. Now if we have to reply that email or we have to forward that email. All of you know what is the difference between reply and forward. Reply means we are replying to the same person. No need to enter his or her email address. While forwarding means we are getting some mail, now we want to forward that mail. In forwarding we are not typing the message, we have to just type the email address. So simply when we are getting the mail, we can just forward that or we can reply that simply by clicking on reply and forward button. Now structure of email message. While sending the mail to someone, what are the structure for an email message? From. From means no need to write here in this from, because that will be the default email address of the sender. To whom we want to send the mail, CC and BCC. If we want to send the same mail to multiple persons, we can use CC or BCC. CC stands for carbon copy and BCC stands for blind carbon copy. See, we are getting some mail, now we want to or we are sending the mail to multiple persons. We can use both of these options, CC and BCC. But in CC, the recipients can see the names of other persons, while in BCC, the name of the recipients will not be visible to other recipients. I give you one example. आपको एक मेल सेंड करनी है, आप ये चाहते हैं आपको वो 10 पर्सन्स को आगे सेंड करनी है, बट आपको ये शो नहीं करना कि आपने किन अदर 10 पर्सन्स को शो भेजी है, सेंड की है, तो आप तो आप BCC यूज़ करेंगे. और अगर आप ये चाहते हैं सभी रेसिपिएंट्स एक दूसरे के नेम देख सकें, तो आप CC यूज़ करेंगे. Then subject will be the title of the mail. Body, whatever the message you want to send. Attachments, if you want to attach one or more pictures or any of the document, you can attach one or more files also. Date and message ID will be generated automatically, no need to enter. Here the structure is given, you can see here in two we have to enter the recipient's mail address. Then CC if we want to send it to more persons, BCC if we want to send to more persons but we want to hide other recipient's address, then we'll use BCC. Subject, then attachment, we want to attach some file. Now here email ID of recipient, email ID of blind CCC, text message. Now sending mail. How can we send the mail? Simply by clicking on compose button. Then we have to enter these fields to CC and BCC. If the CC and BCC are optional, if you want to send those mail to multiple persons, then we'll use these CC or BCC. Subject is the title. I told you the difference between CC and BCC. I told you in Hindi because this is very important from examination point of view. It should be very clear to you what is the difference between CC and BCC. So this is the image of Gmail account. So if you have entered your Gmail account, then what you will do, you have to click on the compose button to send the mail. Then you will type the address of the recipient. If you want to add CC or BCC, simply click on this add CC and BCC. In subject you will put the subject, and in this blank area you have to enter the message. Then you will click on the send button to send the mail. So I have told you whole process. Difference between CC and BCC, just see yourself. Then spam and junk mail. Sometimes you see some of your mails are stored in spams. So basically what is this spam? Spam is used to store irrelevant. Spams are basically unwanted mails or irrelevant or inappropriate messages sent on the internet to a large number of people. When some people send in bulk some irrelevant messages, those are called spam. And junk mail are unwanted or unsolicited advertising, like promotional material, like you can get from any of the shopping websites, online shopping websites. Then using search engine. What are the search engines? Search engines are the programs that helps us to search anything over the internet. We use Google for searching anything, that is a search engine. That is an example of search engine. So many other search engines are here. You can see some of the search engines like Bing, Yahoo, Ask, AOL. Wow. So what you have to do, you have to open that search engine. In search box you will type your query and you will be getting the websites related to that particular search. Now we are searching anything on the internet by using the search engine. So how does the search engine work? Basically, search engine works with the help of three elements. First one is spider. Spider is also called web crawler or bots or agents. So when we put our query in the search engines, or you can say any of the website, so what happens basically, this spider or web crawler, it will which comb the internet looking for documents and their web addresses. If we have typed suppose cyclones in our search engine, so it will search the websites related to the cyclones. Bot and spider are given direction by the search engine and they crawl from one server to another, compiling the huge list of URLs. So it will get the list of all the URLs related to our particular that specific search. Then indexing software and database. The list of the documents and the web addresses collected by bots. Whatever that spider will search, the list of those web addresses will go to the indexing software. Indexing software will extract the information from the documents and web addresses and prepared on index of it and stores in a database. Then search algorithm. When you perform any search by entering keywords, the search engine software searches its database using a particular search method called search algorithm. So basic search will be done with the help of this search algorithm. Matching addresses will be shown to us through this search algorithm. So in this figure you can see spider is there. It is collecting the URLs, then it is sending all the URLs to the database or indexing software. Then indexing software is showing us that result through the search engine. Now here some searching tips are given. First one is do not ask questions. Like don't write who is the Home Minister of India. You can type only Home Minister of India. And basically when you search about this, computer can search home also, minister also and India also. It will search for all these things. So what you have to do, like here one example is given, God of small things. We have entered God of small things. If we are putting it without quotes, it will search for God also, small also, thing also, small thing also and God of small thing also. So what we have to do for a particular search, we have to put that search in double quotes. Like here God of small things is written in double quotes. We can use like this also, and we can put hyphens in between, or we can use semicolons also. The next one is use wildcard for pattern matching. Like if we don't want, we do not know the spelling, like here dir and then star is there. So what does this star mean? It will search all the words starting from dir word, like direct, direction, directive, director, etc. So what we have written here, dir and star. The next is lowercase words matches are not case sensitive, but uppercase words are case sensitive. Lowercase means small letters and uppercase means capital letters. So capital letter is case sensitive. Whatever will be written in capital letter, it will show exactly on that based on that word. But if we are writing in small letters, it will search for all these. Like program is written in small word, P is capital in this program. Sorry, PR is written in capital in this, and O whole program is in capital. It will show search for this also. But if you are writing PRO in capital and GRAM in small, it will search only for same thing, like pro in capital and gram in small letters. Next is specify that a word or phrase must appear in matched documents, put a plus sign. For example, if you want to search top 5 engineering colleges of India, so what will you put? Top engineering colleges plus India. Like here Boston plus university is written. And to specify that a word or phrase must not appear in matched documents, then we have to put minus sign. Like if you want to search top engineering colleges of Asia but not China, so what you will write plus Asia minus China. Plus for including and minus for excluding. Finding people on the net. How can you find the peoples on the net? Now there are so many ways to find the people over net. Like you can find on Facebook also, you are all friends. But still some websites are given here to find the peoples. These are just like online, you can say, directories. Like here 123people.com, that is used to search the peoples, that contains the email addresses of the people. The next term is FTP protocol. Protocol are the set of rules for transferring anything over the internet. Some types of protocols are given here. First one is FTP protocol. FTP stands for File Transfer Protocol. As the name indicates, it is used for exchanging the files over network, and it supports the TCP/IP. TCP/IP stands for Transmission Control Protocol and Internet Protocol. So two things are there, FTP server and FTP client. FTP server will be running, that is running FTP server software. FTP server listens on the network for connection requests for other computers, and client will request to the FTP server, that is just like client server architecture. Some examples of FTP client are given here. Beta, all of you listen very carefully. When any of the example is given, like here FTP client are given, so you have to write those in your fair notebook. Like Windows FTP clients are these, Mac operating system X clients are these for Linux, because Windows, Macintosh, Linux, all these are operating system, and for these operating system these are the protocols. Now uploading and downloading files from a remote site. All of you very well knowing how to upload anything or how to download anything over the internet, because nowadays you are using internet very much. So what are the, basically for uploading and downloading anything on the internet, we need these FTP server. So now requirement to connect to FTP server, what are the requirements? Some FTP addresses are given here. See, when you are typing google.com, it automatically converts into www http and then //www then google.com or gmail.com, whatever. So what is that HTTP? That is server or protocol. Here for network, these protocols are given here. For uploading and for downloading the files, it is written here. This is for network, not on internet. Network means connecting two or more computers. So in between those two or more computers, if file has to be transferred, that for that purpose this is given, not for internet. How to upload the file on FTP server? To upload file on FTP server, you need to copy a file from your computer and paste it to FTP server folder. Okay, and for downloading, to download the file from FTP server, just copy a file from any of the folder of the FTP server and paste it to your computer. Now remote login and file transfer protocol. What is remote login? Remote login means starting any computer that is far from you, that is called remote login. So for remote login, Telnet is also used. Previous section talk about file transfer protocol. In this section we'll read about SFTP. FTP is simply transferring the file, but SFTP is for securing, that is for transferring in secure manner. Full form is secure FTP. SHS secure, SSL, SCP secure copy, and Telnet. Telnet is the most popular protocol used to transfer the file on remote login. Telnet is an older internet utility that lets you log on to the remote computer system. Basically, a Telnet program gives you a character-based terminal windows. Traditionally, Telnet was just used to remote login for the remote systems. How Telnet works? Using Telnet client software on your computer makes a connection to the Telnet server over internet. Once your Telnet client establishes a connection to the remote host, your client becomes a virtual terminal, allowing you to communicate with the remote host from your computer. Now you can type Telnet based SS commands on the, some commands are there for accessing the remote computer. Then SSH. SSH is Secure Shell Protocol. It is a telnet-like protocol in functionality, but in secure manner. Telnet is just to remote login, but here with the help of SSH, secure connection will be there. Secure remote login will be there. Significance of SSH. The traditional internet protocols like Telnet, FTP, even email also are not secure. These share data information in encrypted form over internet. But this SSH transfer the data in a secure manner in an encrypted format. Encrypted means coded form. Then SCP. SCP allows to copy files between two servers or two connected machines over internet. SCP secure copy is one such protocol. The SCP protocol allows us to transmit files from one machine to another over internet with the encryption benefits of SSH. Then SFTP, that is just like FTP but in secure manner. So safety measures are here. SFTP requires that the client user must be authenticated by the server and the data transfer must take place over a secure channel. All data is encrypted before being sent across the network. SFTP encrypts both commands and data, providing effective protection against common network security risks. So we'll do other topics in next part. You have to read through your book and prepare for your for half yearly exam. In half yearly exam, chapter 1, chapter 2 and chapter 6 will be there. Okay, take care beta. Bye bye.